Hey there, viewer. I'm so excited to share a super cool story with you today, but first, I've got a quick question. Have you ever had a neighbor who was super nosy and thought they were smarter than everyone else? Maybe they peeked over your fence or told you what to do with your yard. Drop a comment down below and let me know where you're watching from today. Oh, and if you love awesome stories like this one, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can catch all the fun stuff coming up next. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. Okay, let's dive in. Close your eyes for a second. Well, okay, don't close them because you need to read this, but imagine a quiet little street in a cozy neighborhood. The houses all have neat green lawns, pretty flowers, and mailboxes lined up like soldiers. Kids ride bikes, dogs bark, and everything feels peaceful. But there's one house that's just a tiny bit different, not because it's big or fancy or painted a wild color, but because it belongs to someone named Mia Carter. Now, if you met Mia, you might think she's just a regular lady. She's kind of quiet, maybe even a little shy. She doesn't talk a lot, but when she does, she's super nice. If you waved at her while walking by, she'd wave back with a big smile. Sometimes she'd say something about the weather like, "Wow, it's sunny today," or "Looks like rain, huh?" That's it. That's all anyone ever got out of Mia. To the people in her neighborhood, she was just, well, ordinary. Nobody thought there was anything special about her. Nobody asked her questions. Nobody wondered about her life. They just saw a woman who lived alone in a small house with a tidy yard. But here's the thing, they were so wrong about Mia. Behind that friendly smile and those quick waves, Mia was hiding something huge. Something nobody in that neighborhood could even guess. She wasn't just some random person who mowed her lawn and paid her bills. Oh no, Mia had a secret. A big, exciting, jaw-dropping secret that was going to shake things up like a thunderstorm rolling through a sunny day. And trust me, when that secret came out, it was going to make everyone's eyes go wide and their mouths drop open. I know, you're probably wondering, what's her secret? Tell me already. But hold on just a second. I don't want to spill the beans too fast. Stories are way more fun when you get to figure things out step by step, right? So let's go back to the beginning and set the stage. Let's talk about Mia, her house, and the neighborhood that thought they had her all figured out. Mia's house wasn't super big, but it was cute. It had a little porch with a rocking chair, a few potted plants, and a bright red door that made it stand out just a tiny bit. Her grass was always cut, her bushes were trimmed, and she even had a little birdhouse hanging from a tree. Everything about her place screamed normal. But if you looked closer, really close, you might notice something different. Her house had a few extra gadgets. Like her porch light didn't just turn on and off like a regular light. It glowed in different colors sometimes, almost like it was talking to someone. And her doorbell, it wasn't just a plain old ding-dong. It had a little camera that blinked like it was keeping an eye on things. Most people didn't notice these things. They just walked by and thought, "Oh, that's Mia's house, nothing special." But those gadgets weren't just for show. They were part of Mia's world, a world nobody else knew about. See, Mia wasn't just a lady who liked to decorate her house with cool tech. She was way more than that. Way more. Let's talk about the neighborhood for a minute. It was one of those places where everyone knew everyone else's business. If someone got a new car, the whole street would be talking about it by dinner. If someone's dog dug up a flower bed, you'd hear about it at the next neighborhood barbecue. People were friendly, sure, but they also loved to gossip. And they had opinions, lots of opinions, about how things should be. The lawns had to be perfect. The houses had to look just right. And if you did something different, like painted your fence a weird color, you'd better believe someone would have something to say about it. At the center of all this was the Homeowners Association, or HOA for short. The HOA was like a club that made rules for the neighborhood. They decided how tall your grass could be, what kind of mailbox you could have, and even what color your curtains should be. Sounds strict, right? Well, it was. And the person in charge of the HOA was a woman named Karen. Oh boy, Karen was something else. She wasn't just strict, she was super strict. She walked around with a clipboard, writing down every little thing she didn't like. Forgot to bring your trash can in? Karen would write it down. Your kid left a bike in the driveway. Karen would knock on your door with a frown. She thought she was the boss of everyone. Karen had a way of making people feel small. She'd smile, but it wasn't a nice smile. It was the kind of smile that said, "I'm better than you and don't you forget it." Most people just went along with her because it was easier than arguing. But Mia was different. She didn't argue, but she didn't bow down to Karen either. She'd just nod and say, "Okay, I'll take care of it," whenever Karen complained about something. And Karen complained about Mia a lot. Why did Karen pick on Mia? Well, for one thing, Mia was new to the neighborhood. She'd only moved in a few months ago, so she was still an outsider in Karen's eyes. Plus, Mia didn't act like everyone else. She didn't go to the HOA meetings where Karen loved to boss people around. She didn't join the neighborhood book club or show up to the potluck dinners. She kept to herself, and that made Karen suspicious. What's she hiding? Karen would whisper to her friends, her eyes narrowing. Nobody's that quiet. But Mia wasn't hiding because she was scared or snaky. She was just busy with her own life, her own work, her own world. A world that Karen and the rest of the neighborhood couldn't even imagine. See, Mia wasn't just good with gadgets, she was a genius. Not the kind of genius who brags about it, but the kind who quietly solves problems nobody else can. Her brain was like a supercomputer, always thinking, always planning. And her house, it wasn't just a house. It was like her own little fortress, filled with tech she'd built herself. I bet you're curious now, aren't you? You're probably thinking, okay, what's so special about Mia? What's her big secret? Well, I'm not going to tell you everything just yet. That would ruin the fun, but I'll give you a tiny hint. Mia's secret had something to do with computers. Not just playing games or watching videos, but something way bigger. Something that made her one of the smartest people around. And Karen. Poor Karen had no idea she was about to mess with someone who could outsmart her in a heartbeat. Let's set the scene a little more. It was a sunny Saturday morning and Mia was outside watering her flowers. Her red door was open and soft music floated out from inside. She looked happy, humming to herself as she sprinkled water on her roses. Across the street, Karen was watching. She stood on her porch, arms crossed, her clipboard tucked under one elbow. She didn't like how calm Mia looked, didn't like how Mia never seemed bothered by her complaints. "Is that woman up to something?" Karen muttered to herself, "and I'm going to find out what." Karen wasn't wrong. Mia was up to something, but it wasn't anything bad. It was just, well, it was Mia being Mia. And being Mia meant being ready for anything. Ready for nosy neighbors, ready for silly rule, ready for someone like Karen to try something dumb. Because Mia wasn't just smart, she was prepared. Her house, her gadgets, her quiet little life, it was all part of a bigger plan. A plan that was about to turn her sleepy little neighborhood into the talk of the town. So what happened next? How did Mia's secret come out? And what did Karen do to make things go from bad to worse? I'll tell you all about it soon, but for now, just imagine Mia standing there, watering her flowers with no idea that trouble was brewing. Or maybe she did know. Maybe that's why she was smiling. What do you think? Is Mia about to surprise everyone? Drop a comment and let me know what you're guessing. And don't forget to subscribe so you can find out what happens next. This story's just getting started and it's going to be a wild ride. Okay, let's get into the juicy part of the story where things start to heat up. You're going to love this because it's where the trouble really begins. Picture Mia Carter, our quiet, super smart lady, living in her cute little house with the red door. Everything seems calm, right? But there's one person who's about to make life a whole lot messier for Mia. That person, Karen, the boss of the Homeowners Association, or HOA for short. Now let me tell you about Karen. She's the kind of neighbor who's always watching everything. Always, if your mailbox is a tiny bit crooked, she'll notice. If your trash can stays out too long, she's writing it down. Karen loves rule. She loves them so much that she carries a clipboard everywhere, scribbling notes like it's her job. And when she walks around the neighborhood, she's not smiling, not a real smile anyway. It's more like a sneaky grin, like she's looking for someone to catch doing something wrong. From the very first day Mia moved into the neighborhood, Karen didn't like her. Why? Well, Mia was new and Karen didn't trust new people. Plus, Mia was quiet. She didn't come to Karen's boring HOA meetings or chat with the other neighbors about silly stuff like whose dog was barking too loud. That made Karen suspicious. "What's that Mia up to?" she'd mutter, her eyes squinting at Mia's house. Karen thought Mia was just some regular person she could boss around. Oh boy, was she wrong. It all started with little things. One morning, Karen marched up to Mia's porch, her clipboard in hand. She knocked on the red door, bang, 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 like she owned the place. When Mia opened the door, Karen didn't even say hello. She just pointed at Mia's porch light and snapped, "That light is way too bright. It's keeping people awake at night." Mia blinked, surprised. Her light wasn't even that bright. It was just a normal bulb that changed colors sometimes. But she didn't argue. She just smiled and said, "Okay, I'll fix it." Her voice was soft, like she didn't want any trouble. But Karen wasn't done. A few days later, she was back. This time, she was mad about Mia's grass. "It's too long," she said, waving her arms like it was the worst thing ever. "It's supposed to be exactly 2 inches, and yours is at least 2.5. Mia looked at her lawn. It looked fine to her, green and neat. But again, she didn't fight. "I'll mow it," she said calmly. Karen smirked like she'd won some big battle and stomped off, scribbling on her clipboard. Inside, though, Mia wasn't upset. Nope, she was thinking. Every mean word Karen said, every snotty look she gave, Mia remembered it all. It was like she had a notebook in her brain and she was writing down every single thing. Karen thought Mia was a pushover, someone who'd just do whatever she was told. But Mia wasn't scared of Karen, not even a little bit. She was watching, waiting, and keeping track. Karen had no idea who she was messing with. Things kept going like this for weeks. Karen would find something new to complain about almost every day. One time it was Mia's mailbox. "It's leaning to the left," Karen said, acting like it was a crime. Another time it was Mia's car. "You parked an inch too close to the curb," she huffed. Each time Mia just nodded and said, "I'll take care of it." But her eyes, they were sharp. She was paying attention to every move Karen made. Then one day, Karen went too far. It was a sunny afternoon and Mia was in her garden planting some flowers. She looked happy, humming a little song as she dug in the dirt. Suddenly, Karen showed up at her gate, holding a piece of paper and looking madder than ever. "Mia Carter," she shouted, waving the paper like a flag. Mia stood up, brushing dirt off her hands. "Hi, Karen," she said politely. "What's wrong?" Karen didn't even try to be nice. "Your house is a problem," she said, her voice loud enough for the whole street to hear. "All these gadgets and lights you've got, they're a security risk." Mia tilted her head, curious. "A security risk?" she asked. Karen nodded, her face all smug. "Yes, too many fancy tech things. Cameras, lights, who knows what else. It's disturbing the whole neighborhood. I'm warning you, Mia, fix it, or I'll make sure the HOA takes care of this." Now let's pause for a second. A security risk, that's a big deal to say, right? Most people would get nervous if someone said their house was dangerous. But Mia didn't look nervous, not one bit. She just stood there, her face calm, her eyes locked on Karen. "Okay," she said slowly. "I'll look into it." Karen smirked again, thinking she'd scared Mia. "You'd better," she said, then turned and walked away, her clipboard bouncing against her hip. But here's the thing Karen didn't know. Mia's gadgets weren't just for fun. Those lights that changed colors, that doorbell with the tiny camera, they weren't random toys. They were part of something huge, something Mia had built herself. Karen thought she was so smart, acting like she knew all about technology. She didn't have a clue. Mia wasn't just playing with lights. She was a genius with computers and tech, and her house was like a super smart fortress. Karen wasn't just poking at Mia, she was poking at a bear. A really, really smart bear. Mia didn't say anything as Karen walked away. She just went back to her flowers, kneeling in the dirt like nothing had happened. But if you looked closely, you might have seen a tiny smile on her face. Not a big grin, just a little curve of her lips, like she knew something Karen didn't, like she was ready for whatever came next. The neighbors started whispering after that. Karen made sure everyone heard about Mia's dangerous house. She'd stop people on the street and say things like, "Have you seen all that tech at Mia's place? Who knows what she's doing with it?" Some people believed her. They'd walk by Mia's house and stare, wondering if Karen was right. Was Mia up to something weird? Was her house really a problem? Mia heard the whispers, but she didn't let them bother her. She just kept doing her thing, watering her plants, waving at kids, living her quiet life. But quiet didn't mean weak. Mia was strong in her own way. Every time Karen tried to make her feel small, Mia got a little more determined. She wasn't going to let Karen win, not now, not ever. Karen thought she was in charge, but she was about to learn a big lesson. Mia wasn't just any neighbor, she was special, and soon everyone would know it. What do you think Karen's going to do next? Will she keep picking on Mia, or will she finally leave her alone? And what's Mia planning in that super smart brain of hers? Stick around because this story about to get even wilder. Alright, let's dive back into the story. Things are starting to get really exciting now, and you're going to love what happens next. So picture Mia Carter in her cute little house with the red door, trying to live her quiet life. But Karen, that nosy HOA boss, isn't making it easy. Not at all. Over the past few weeks, Karen's been getting meaner and meaner, and Mia, she's not just sitting there, she's getting ready for something big. Let's see what's going on. Weeks went by after Karen told Mia her house was a security risk. Instead of backing off, Karen got even bolder. She started talking to everyone in the neighborhood, spreading stories about Mia's house. "Have you seen all those weird lights?" she'd say, pointing at Mia's place. "I bet she's up to something dangerous." She told people Mia's gadgets were bad news, like they could cause trouble for the whole street. She even made up a crazy story that Mia's tech was hacking the neighborhood Wi-Fi. Can you believe that? Hacking Wi-Fi? Karen didn't even know what that meant, but she said it anyway to scare people. The neighbors started to listen. They didn't know Mia very well, so some of them believed Karen. When they walked by Mia's house, they'd give her funny looks like they were trying to figure her out. One day, a guy named Mr. Thompson stopped Mia while she was getting her mail. He scratched his head and asked, "Hey Mia, you're not spying on us with all that tech, are you?" Mia looked at him, surprised. "Spying?" She shook her head and smiled. "No way, Mr. Thompson," she said kindly. "I just like my lights." He nodded, but he still looked unsure as he walked away. Mia didn't let those whispers bother her. She stayed calm and kept doing her thing, watering her flowers, waving at kids, keeping her lawn neat. But that didn't mean she was ignoring Karen. Oh no, Mia was paying attention to everything. Every time Karen spread a new rumor or gave her a mean look, Mia noticed. She didn't say anything out loud, but inside she was thinking hard. Karen thought she could scare Mia, but Mia wasn't scared. Not one bit. At night, when the neighborhood was quiet and the stars were out, Mia wasn't sleeping. She was busy. She'd sit in her house in a cozy room filled with computers and screens. The lights were off, but her face glowed from the computer screen. Her fingers moved super fast on the keyboard like they were dancing. Click, click, click. Lines of words and numbers zoomed across the screen, stuff most people wouldn't understand. But Mia, she understood every bit of it. See, Mia wasn't just a regular person who liked cool gadgets. She was one of the smartest people in the whole country when it came to computers. Big companies paid her tons of money to keep their secrets safe. Even important people, like the ones who run cities, called her for help. She was a superhero of the internet, but nobody in the neighborhood knew it. Nobody except Mia. While Karen was busy making up stories, Mia was working. She wasn't just fixing her porch lights or checking her doorbell camera. She was watching everything, tracking stuff, learning things. Her house wasn't just a house, it was like a super smart robot that listened to her. All those gadgets Karen complained about, they were connected to Mia's computers and they told her what was going on. Mia could see if someone walked by her house. She could tell if someone tried to mess with her stuff. And lately, she was noticing something weird. One night, Mia was sitting at her desk, sipping a cup of hot cocoa. Her computer made a little beep and a message popped up on her smart home app. She leaned forward, her eyes getting big. "What's this?" she whispered. The app said something strange. A new device was trying to connect to her network. That's like someone trying to sneak into her house through the internet. Mia's eyebrows went up. She clicked a few buttons and her screen showed more details. Guess where that sneaky device was coming from? Karen's house, yup, right across the street. Mia leaned back in her chair, a tiny smile on her face. Well, she said softly. Someone's getting nosy. She wasn't mad though, she was curious. Why was Karen's computer trying to get into her system? Was Karen just being her usual bossy self, or was she up to something bigger? Mia didn't know yet, but she was going to find out. Her fingers started typing again, faster this time. She was like a detective looking for clues in a big mystery. The next day, Karen was at it again. She stood on the sidewalk with a group of neighbors, talking loud so Mia could hear. "I'm telling you," Karen said, waving her clipboard, "that house is trouble. All those cameras and lights, she's probably watching us right now." The neighbors nodded, looking worried. Mia was outside, pulling weeds from her garden. She heard every word, but she didn't look up. She just kept working, her hands in the dirt. But if you looked closely, you'd see her lips twitch, like she was trying not to laugh. Karen wasn't done. She took her complaints to the city. That's right, she wrote a big letter saying Mia's tech was breaking rules. She said it was dangerous and against the law. She even told the city that Mia's gadgets were messing up everyone's internet. Of course, none of that was true, but Karen didn't care. She just wanted Mia to get in trouble. When Mia got a copy of the complaint in the mail, she read it carefully. Her face didn't change. She didn't frown or cry. She just folded the paper and put it away. Then she went back to her computer. That night, Mia found more clues. Her app pinged again, another try from Karen's house to get into her system. Mia's eyes narrowed. "Okay, Karen," she said to herself. "What are you playing at?" She started digging deeper, looking at her computer like it was a treasure map. She found out Karen's computer wasn't just poking around, it was trying to change things. Like maybe turn off Mia's lights or mess with her cameras. Mia wasn't worried, though. Her system was super strong, like a castle with a giant moat. Nobody could get in unless she let them. Mia started to wonder, why was Karen so obsessed with her house? Was she just being mean, or was there something else going on? Mia didn't have all the answers yet, but she was getting closer. Every night, she worked a little more, checking her screens, writing new codes, making her house even smarter. She was like a secret agent, and Karen didn't even know it. The neighbors kept whispering, Karen kept complaining, but Mia, she stayed cool as a cucumber. She knew something was coming, something big, and when it happened, Karen was going to wish she'd left Mia alone. What's Karen up to? Is she really trying to hack Mia's house, or is it something else? And how's Mia going to handle it? Hang tight, this story's getting wilder every second. Alright, buckle up, because this is where the story gets super exciting. We're at the part where everything explodes into action and you're going to love it. Mia Carter, our quiet, super smart neighbor, has been dealing with Karen's mean tricks for way too long. But now Karen's gone too far and Mia's about to show everyone who she really is. Let's jump in. It was a bright, sunny morning and Mia woke up ready for a normal day. She stretched, yawned, and went to make some coffee. But as soon as she walked into her living room, she knew something was wrong, really wrong. Her house was acting crazy. The lights were flashing on and off like a disco party. Her thermostat was pumping out hot air, even though it was summer and super warm outside. And when she checked her security cameras on her phone, they weren't showing her front yard. They were playing old videos from last week. Mia's eyes got big. "Oh no," she whispered. "Someone's messed with my system." Most people would freak out if their house went haywire like that. They'd run around yelling, trying to fix things. But not Mia. She didn't panic, not even a little. Instead, she walked to her kitchen table, sat down, and took a deep breath. Then a tiny smile spread across her face. "Oh, Karen," she said to herself, her voice soft but strong. "You just made the biggest mistake ever." She cracked her knuckles like a superhero, getting ready for battle, and got to work. Mia knew exactly what was going on. Someone had hacked her smart home, like sneaking into her computer system to cause trouble, and she had a pretty good guess who was behind it. Karen had been complaining about Mia's tech for weeks, saying it was dangerous and bad for the neighborhood. Mia wasn't surprised Karen would try something sneaky, but she wasn't worried either. Why? Because Mia wasn't just any homeowner. She was a genius with computers, and she was ready to fight back. Mia grabbed her laptop and opened it up. Her fingers started flying across the keyboard, so fast they were like a blur. Click, click, click. Her screen lit up with all kinds of numbers and words, stuff that would look like a secret code to most people. But to Mia, it was like reading a book. She could see everything, every part of her smart home, every gadget, every connection. In just a few minutes, she found the problem. The hack was coming from a computer nearby. And guess where that computer was? Yup, Karen's house right across the street. Mia leaned back in her chair, her smile getting bigger. "Gotcha," she said. She kept digging like a detective following clues. She found out Karen hadn't done the hack herself. She wasn't that smart. Instead, Karen had paid some shady guy she found online to do it for her. Mia's screen showed emails between Karen and this guy where Karen wrote, "I want to teach that Mia a lesson, make her tech go crazy." Mia shook her head. "Oh, Karen," she said again, "you have no idea who you're messing with." Now Mia could have stopped there. She could have fixed her house and called it a day. But she didn't. Karen had gone too far and Mia was done staying quiet. With a few more clicks, she locked Karen's hack out of her system. It was like slamming a door in Karen's face. Then Mia did something even cooler. She turned the tables. She saved all the proof of Karen's sneaky plan, like a video of Karen's computer screen showing every step of the hack. Mia wasn't just fixing her house. She was getting ready to show everyone the truth. That night, the neighborhood had a big HOA meeting at the community center. It was a fancy room with lots of chairs and a big screen at the front. Everyone was there, neighbors, kids, even a few dogs. Karen stood at the front, holding her clipboard like it was a crown. She was ready to make a big speech about Mia. "We need to talk about Mia Carter," she said, her voice loud and bossy. She pointed to Mia, who was sitting quietly in the back row, looking calm as ever. "Her tech is a danger to our neighborhood," Karen went on. "Those lights, those cameras, they're trouble. We need to make her stop." The neighbors started whispering. Some nodded, agreeing with Karen. Others looked at Mia, wondering what she'd say. But Mia didn't say anything, not yet. She just sat there, her hands folded, watching Karen like a cat watching a mouse. Karen kept talking, getting louder and meaner. "I've told the city," she said. "I've filed complaints. We can't let Mia keep doing this." Then something happened. The big screen behind Karen flickered. Everyone turned to look. At first, it was just static, like a TV with bad signal. But then a video started playing. It was a recording of a computer screen, Karen's computer screen. The video showed everything: Karen's emails to the shady hacker, her messages saying she wanted to mess with Mia's house, even a payment she sent to the guy. The whole room went quiet. Jaws dropped. Eyes got wide. Someone gasped, "What is that?" Karen's face turned bright red. She dropped her clipboard with a loud clatter. "That's not mine," she shouted, waving her hands. "That's fake. Someone made it up." But nobody believed her. The video was too clear. It showed her name, her email, her words. The neighbors started whispering again, but this time they were whispering about Karen. That's when Mia stood up. She didn't rush or yell. She just stood, slow and steady, and walked to the front of the room. Everyone watched her. The room was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Mia turned to face the crowd, her voice calm but strong, like a teacher explaining something important. "Actually, Karen," she said, looking right at her, "it is yours. I found it all today when you tried to hack my house." The crowd gasped again. "Hack her house, Karen?" People leaned forward in their seats, waiting to hear more. Mia kept going. "I'm not just a homeowner," she said. "I'm a cybersecurity specialist. That means I protect computers and tech for a living. Big companies trust me. Important people call me for help. And you, Karen, just tried to mess with the wrong house." Karen's mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. She didn't know what to say. The neighbors stared at Mia, amazed. Mia, a cybersecurity specialist, the quiet lady with the red door. Nobody could believe it, but Mia's voice was so sure, so confident that they knew it was true. Karen tried to talk again. "That's a lie," she squeaked, but her voice was shaky now. Nobody listened to her. They were all looking at Mia, waiting for what she'd say next. Mia didn't yell or get mad. She just stood there, strong and calm, letting the truth do the talking. The video kept playing behind her, showing more proof of Karen's sneaky plan.